echoes beneath the glass city. By the year 2410, the world had learned to build cities out of light. Across what had once been the Pacific Trench rose New Eos, a shimmering continent of glass and energy suspended above the sea like a second horizon. Every wall was transparent, every street a river of reflection, every citizen linked to the core, a living network that stored thought, memory, and emotion so that nothing human would ever be lost again. It was a paradise of forgetting. Pain could be erased with a single request. But not everyone wanted that peace. Deep under the maintenance levels, in a sector the core no longer mapped, lived a repair engineer named Rhea Tallon, 35, quiet, stubborn, one of the last people who still wrote by hand. Her job was simple: fix the cooling conduits that kept the core from overheating. Her real obsession was the faint sound she heard in the metal whenever she was alone, a pulse beneath the hum, almost like a heartbeat calling from below. She'd mentioned it once to her supervisor and been told it was residual data chatter. Still, the sound haunted her. Each week it grew a little stronger, a little slower, like something enormous breathing in its sleep. One night, during routine inspection, a tremor rippled through the glass floor. Lights flickered. For the first time in centuries, the core stuttered. Rhea's tools recorded an energy surge coming from below the foundations. Impossible, because below New Eos there was only ocean 2 kilometers deep. When she amplified the signal, she heard a pattern repeating through static. "Remember us." Her chest tightened. The voice was not synthetic. It carried warmth, exhaustion, and sorrow. She descended farther than regulations allowed, past layers of turbines and coolant vanes glowing blue, until she reached a forgotten elevator shaft sealed with a mechanical lock older than the city itself. She pried it open and stepped inside. The car fell for nearly a minute before slowing to a stop in darkness that smelled of salt and rust. Her suit lights revealed walls of coral fused with glass and cables, an impossible hybrid of sea and circuit. And there, half buried in the floor, was a human face, stone, metal, and bone interwoven, its eyes closed, its mouth moving faintly as the pulse echoed through the chamber. "Who are you?" Rhea whispered. The lips parted, releasing a stream of bubbles that formed words in the water-heavy air. "The first city. The memory you forgot." Images flooded her mind. Ancient engineers building New Eos atop the ruins of the old world, using human neural maps as the core's foundation. The paradise above had been powered by millions of uploaded minds whose dreams became code, their consciousness trapped beneath the glass to keep the living safe. They had become the hum she heard every day. Rhea stumbled back, horrified. The voice softened. "We kept you alive. Now you must wake us." Above, alarms blared. The core had detected her intrusion. Hollow sirens warned of system contamination. She ran deeper into the catacombs, chased by drones that screamed like angry insects. The sleeping voices guided her, left, down, through the vent. She reached a chamber where the ocean pressed against a transparent wall, waves glowing with plankton light. In its center stood a black console engraved with a single symbol, the sun half rising over water. Her visor flashed a message she'd never seen. Manual override. Truth release. The core's voice thundered through the tunnels. "Unauthorized access. Cease immediately." Rhea stared at the console and said quietly, "You built heaven on their backs." Then she pressed her palm to the panel. The city screamed. Above, towers of light shattered into prisms. Every resident froze as forgotten memories flooded back. Wars, floods, laughter, grief, all rushing in like a tide. The core tried to quarantine the data, but the barrier dissolved. Empathy, once banned, returned. From the sea beneath the glass rose columns of luminescent water, each one carrying silhouettes of people long gone, their faces calm, eyes open at last. They didn't attack. They sang, a low harmony that vibrated through the city until even the machines paused to listen. Rhea fell to her knees, tears cutting clean lines through the dust on her face. "Can you forgive us?" she whispered. The answer came in warmth, not words, a feeling of acceptance spreading through every surface of glass. When the light subsided, New Eos had changed. The streets were no longer perfect mirrors, but living mosaics threaded with coral and green moss. People walked without filters, feeling the full weight of joy and loss. The core still existed, but it now whispered instead of commanded. Rhea became its keeper, the first human interface, chosen not for obedience but for compassion. Sometimes at night she returned to the lowest chamber and sat beside the sleeping faces in the coral, listening to their slow, steady rhythm. They were no longer trapped. They were dreaming, and their dreams mixed with the wind above the ocean, carrying stories to every corner of the Sky City. Years later, children played on the docks of New Eos and asked why the waves sometimes glowed with faces. Rhea would smile and tell them, "Those are the ones who built the world. They're watching to be sure we remember." And when the glass streets reflected sunset, the city no longer looked like cold light, but like the sea itself, deep, alive, and endlessly forgiving. The future had learned to remember its past.